Well, hello from the 757 Spy Flight Deck. It is early morning. Weren't we just sitting here yesterday doing a quick flight in the BAE 146 in Microsoft Flight Simulator? So yesterday was sort of kind of a little bit of a day off here. And then all of a sudden, X-Plane 12's early access just popped out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, well, we need to check this thing out. So where things have gone, I was able to buy it. Did not get a free copy or in advance. So these are all my own impressions. Nobody paid me to be nice or mean or anything like that. One of the things that I have noticed, I've run it twice now. And one of the things that I've noticed is this thing really does load quickly. So just yesterday here on YouTube, we did a flight from Lexington, Kentucky up to Chicago O'Hare. Let's do the same flight, only this time what we're going to do is we're going to use the Zibo 737-800. So apparently Zibo was all ready to go and had a mod for the early access. I am using SimBrief and SimToolkit Pro. We will use charts. I don't think that there's any flight tracking, and everything else that I'm going to be using here is going to be default. This is the exact same flight plan that we did yesterday, Lexington to Chicago. Same runways, except I think Chicago... SimBrief put me over on 9 left for some reason. So instead of 10 center, I'm up on 9 left. So there we go. Let's come on over here. And this is a blank screen. So this is sort of my blank desktop here at Spy HQ. I wanted to show you just how fast this thing loads up, okay? So X-Plane 12, double click on the icon. And the screen goes blank. And it pops up. And it's nice to, and there it is. Okay. I mean, this is like lightning speed compared to how long it usually takes for things to load up here. Let's do a new flight. Okay, so come on over here, new flight. I've got the Boeing 737-800X. This is the 4K version of it. And I've customized it with a United Airlines livery. Okay, so KLEX, Lexington Bluegrass. All right, let's customize our location and see. Okay, United takes off. We took off from Alpha 2 yesterday. Let's do that. Confirm. So I have real world weather. Let's do real time and real weather. Yep, real weather. So all of those are good. And again, I have not done any other modification on this. I did try to put better pushback in, and it's sort of kind of started to seem to work, and then it didn't. So there's no better pushback, at least not that I've got right now. So we'll have to try and power back from the gate. Shall we go ahead and fire it up? Here we go. Start flight. It does initialize ATC. I've gone in and turned off all the ATC voices just because, and I know that the simulator developers really love their in-simulator ATC, but come on. It's a VATSIM world. It's a Pilot Edge world. It's an IVAO world. So anyway, and especially since the first time that I flew Microsoft Flight Simulator, I used its online, it's in-game ATC, and it almost flew me into Pikes Peak in Colorado. So, and to be honest, X-Planes hasn't been much better. So really want to be able to turn those off. Default airplanes. This comes with a default 737, and I flew that the first time, and it was okay. But I mean, after the PMDG and everything else, I had to get the Zibo, and it was so cool that Zibo was all ready to go. I think I saw something over on Discord too about how it was that Discord. Not Discord, that FlyJSim, they're getting the Q400 is close to ready or ready to go. So that's how fast some of these things are moving here. Okay, it's applying real world weather, preparing the world. The load is not nearly as long as it used to be. So X-Plane 12 loads up lightning speed. And here we are. Okay, so we are at Lexington, Kentucky, and I've got to tell you, first time I've seen it, okay? Now, remember, we were in Lexington, Kentucky. We were right here yesterday, and it's not bad. This is not bad. This is a nice airport. Let's see. I don't think, yeah, we're not going to have any interiors, but exteriors, wow, not so bad at all. Okay, it's also cloudy here today. Not the nicest weather in the neighborhood. I'm going to say this is a really nice representation of a regional airport. Put me right where we belong. Now, I don't have, usually to control jetways and stuff, I have SAM. I guess you can control jetways and stuff with the in-game ATC, but as you probably have detected, I have a bit of attitude about that, so we're just, not going to go there. Okay, come on down here. This is also my first real experience with the Zibo. Never really got into the Zibo mod over in X-Plane 11 because I had the 7.5s and all these other great airplanes. So there we go. We have a PA system. We have ground services, so I can connect to GPU. Let's go ahead and do that. There is better pushback in here. Again, I wasn't able to make it work. We're going to go to the doors. I'm going to open up the forward entry. And if we look over here, you'll probably see forward entry. The other thing that I've gone and done is I went and I did a... the only other thing that I went and did is I went and I did views. So one of the things that I've done with all of my simulators is I've got a set of quick views that I've gone and made. And let's see, over here... So here is the first half of the quick views. I'm only showing half of this right now, not because there's any kind of a secret or anything, but so with other airplanes, I have 20 quick views set up for like the MD-11, but only for now. All I'm doing is those first 10 quick views. Okay. So these are the same kinds of views that I like to have for as many different airplanes as I can. On the number pad, number 5 in every airplane is the upper panel. Number 1 is always the flight control unit or the autopilot. So one of the things that I did go through and do is I had to go and change some keyboard shortcuts so that I could go and have these set up. So if you look over here at keyboard, and we're going to go to views and let's look at quick looks. And if we go down to the quick looks, so here we are. So here is quick look. Go to 3D save location number 1. And I've already got that set to number pad 0. So, and then here's, I haven't set these set up yet. I haven't set up, number 11 through 20, but I've got the first setup, and you can see, so to memorize a 3D location, I have control and number pad, and then number pad for all of the quick views that I have. Okay, so I went and I've gone and done those. The other thing that I did is for joystick setups, I went and I did the setup for the side stick and stuff like they were suggesting in the Zibo PDF file. The only changes that I made is I have 8 and 11 are flaps up and flaps down. So up a notch and down a notch for flaps. 7 and 12 are gear up, gear down. And another thing that I've done is over here on the hat switch. So if you notice the hat switch, you know how you look around? I've made 2 changes. The hat switch, and that's this little guy right here. So this thing here, when I push it forward, that's going to be trim down and trim up. So pitch trim. I've set that there because that's something you really need to have on your stick, and it's just something that I have set up. And I've created only one profile here, and that's the Zibo Mod, and that's it. I have done nothing else. So it's all default. And I did try to go and do a calibration. I think I calibrated it. And the other thing that you can see is I did turn on the frame rate counter. And right now I'm getting about 30 FPS. Let's just do a quick look at graphics settings here. So go over to graphics. These were the way that this is the way it all came. So texture quality is maxed out. Ambience occlusion quality was high. Rendering resolution is full. Anti-aliasing was one click from the bottom. This is the way it's set up. Cloud quality and shadow quality is medium. Rendering distance is high, and then objects and vegetation is maxed out. The only other thing that I did is I came down here and as you see over here, my main monitor, I've got a 3-monitor setup here at SPY HQ. And that monitor over there is the main monitor. So in Windows, that's the one that has the toolbar. The monitor number 2, this is the one where I play all my games. And so I did go and I set this up so that I can have a full screen right in front of me, and life is wonderful. And that's something that's really nice. I wish there's a couple of games that I've purchased in the past, and it just insists on it being over on that monitor. And it's sort of like, well, I could slide my desk over there, I guess. But I know you can move them around, but, you know, that's just, you know, I get to be eccentric about a few things, right? Okay, so here's all my views. Views are set up, and there's the iPad. We also have a couple of wing views. I have to tell you, the airplane looks really, really nice. I do like the way the airplane looks. I also increased my field of view just a little bit. I think I increased it to about 90 degrees or something. I did increase the field of view from what it came with. So there we go. Now then, my forward entry door is open. We could also, if we want to, we could open up cargo. So if we go outside, we can go and the cargo pits are open. Okay, so we got cargo and we got the main entry door, and there we go. Now then, let's go over here and go back. Let's see, set chocks. I'm going to put chocks into place. We ought to have that. We'll have the APU going in just a second. We have our doors open, and I think that's good. Okay, so let's go to fuel and weight and balance. Now, these are some things that I'm still having to learn a little bit about here. So let's go to payload. And the zero fuel weight that we have right now is 95043. I did do the flight plan through SimBrief, and this is just with a standard 737. I didn't make any changes. Now, there might be a payload number in here. I don't know where it is. So we got to do a little bit of math here, and it's not bad. Again, I don't see a payload. So you can go and put passengers in. I really don't need that level of immersion right now. So what we'll do is we'll get our zero fuel weight right now, which is 126,764. 126,764. Okay, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, and we're going to go and do math. Okay, so let's get the calculator because it's early in the morning. So what we're going to do is put in the zero fuel weight from SimBrief, 126,764. 126,764. Now, there might be an easier way to do this. I don't know yet. Okay, minus the current zero fuel weight, which is 95043. 95043. Equals a payload of 31,721. So 31,721. I'm just writing it down, okay? All right, we're good to go there. Now then, what we do is go to page 2, and what we can do is, I believe I can do payload total and put that number in, 31,721. 31,721. Enter. And there is a payload total. I don't know if that does it with our passengers or whatever, but okay, so now let's go back. No, payload. And now all of a sudden my zero fuel weight is 126,764, and that matches what it is that we're supposed to have in the airplane. So we're good to go. How about that? So that apparently loads the payload, I think. I'm still learning, I'm sorry. Okay, let's do fuel. So let's see, payload, and let's see, there's payload, center of gravity envelope. Okay, there's layout. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so that looks good. Oh, just put fuel in here. Click the green number, and our fuel for today's flight is 15,657. 15,657, and enter, and that is our fuel. So that's what's required, and that should get the job done, right? Okay, so from there, now we can fuel the airplane, right? And fuel truck call.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
Okay, we are refueling. And look at that, there is refueling. And if you watch the movie Mystery Science Theater 3000, the Starfighters, you know that refueling makes me kind of giggle like a 7-year-old. So there we go. We are now refueling. I think that's basically it. We're ready to go and start flipping switches. They're putting gas in the airplane. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Let's go and do, there is battery and guarded. We have ground power. We're going to patch in ground power. That looks good. I'm going to come on down here and I'm going to turn on my nav lights. Let's go up here. Let's turn up some panel lighting here. And our airplane is kind of coming to life. Look at this. Now, nav data out of date. So I have not read anything about Navigraph yet. So we're just going to clear it and go with the data the way it is, okay? And we'll see what happens. And let's see, how's the gas looking? The gas, they're fueling the airplane, so that's looking good. All right, so we can come down here and let's do FMC. And there's our nav data. So clearly out of date, but we can live with that. Position in it. We are at KLEX, Lexington. And that looks good. Now then, if I remember correctly, we come on up here and let's go to heading status. And I'm going to turn the brightness all the way up, so that's good. Now then, nav. And both of these say on DC, and let's see, do we have, okay, set an IRS position. Let's see if the, like on the PMDG, here's GPS, we have GPS. So we're gonna put that in the scratch pad and put that in there, and that should be the alignment. And we should be able to, we should be aligning our thing, which sounded really tacky. Okay. Okay, here's something interesting. There is something out there flashing at us. We have a flasher. Okay, so the ground traffic here is a little bit annoying. Yes, we're about ready to get a knock on the door from the physics police. Boy, we are the physics police. We understand that you've been occupying the same place, the same time, two solid objects, and not able to do that. Boy, we're going to have to take you down for questioning. I do that a little bit too well, too. Okay, now then. I think with the downloader and stuff, you can actually download flight plans. I haven't done that. This is such a short flight plan. So KLEX, we're going to KORD, Chicago O'Hare. We're going to fly as my usual flight number, United Airlines, Flight 441. And the next page, all we're going to do is direct to Bonnet, B-O-N-N-T. Ready? So B-O-N-N-T. Wow, that was hard. Flight plan. Activate, execute. There's our flight plan. We're done. Okay, how's everything looking up here? I think we've got fuel. We are done refueling. Nope, I think we're still fueling. Still putting gas in there. Okay, fine. Departing out of Lexington today, we are a different runway. We're departing to the north. Now, I don't think that there's going to be any connection with trackers or anything. So here at Lexington, we are going to be blasting off.
Fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
All right, thank you. 4. So we're going to be departing runway 4, so we have a little bit of a taxi today. Now then, I also have Sim Toolkit Pro going here. I did change to another, I did point this over to X-Plane 12. I don't know if this is going to work. It'll probably freeze up everything. And let's see, it says X-Plane 11. Let's see what it does. Probably not going to work. Again, I think there's a plug-in, but we've just got that set up. Okay, so fueling is done. let's go ahead and do the APU. So left aft, and left aft pump is on. And start. Oops, I think I may have hit it twice. Whoops. Well, hopefully that doesn't do anything. We'll look and see if the APU's EGT goes up. Maybe I have to hold it down 5 seconds on this one or something. Is there any noise coming out of the back? Oh, look at that. You can even see a little bit of a heat plume out of the back of that. Okay, so our APU is indeed coming up. There we go. APU's looking good. Excuse me. It is super duper smoky here where I live. So, all right. We're going to flight level 360. So 36,000 feet. That looks good. Chicago O'Hare is 680 feet above sea level. We'll just go ahead and set that. So 700 feet is probably the closest. There we go. Okay, so we got that set. And APU is coming up. Recirculating fans are on auto. And let's see, let's get the APU bleed on. And we can turn some pack on right now. Make the cabin comfy for our passengers. And everything's kind of coming to life here. Good. Okay, let's look down here. Departure and arrival. We are departing out of Lexington on runway 4. And then, let's see, can we go to previous page? Nope, it goes to route. So runway 4, that's good. Arrivals page. We're going to go, and we chose runway 9 left. Chicago is landing towards the... landing and taking off towards the east, so that's good. Still doing VEEX 5. VEEX 5 via Bonnet and via Gibbons. And execute those. Now let's go down to legs. So this is interesting. I guess then Bonnet. So we could do direct to Bonnet, I guess. I don't know if that's what you do. This is a little different from the PMDG. PMDG, there's Veek, Hanny, Cluso, Cato, Pink, Vulcan. Good, that's the north side of the airport. And then vectors into the runway. So that looks pretty good. Okay. There is nothing, that truck is annoying. The truck and the flashing is annoying here. Let's see, we do have the latest weather information from METAR TAF. The altimeter is 3006. So 3006. I did change it so that it should, nope. I get to set all of these. Okay, come on over here. Yep, got to set that too. And so 3006. I thought I had all those set so they were all tied together. Okay, so this is looking good. Let's go to performance initialization. And our init for our flight today is flight level 360. 360. Cruise winds off the flight plan are 286 at 18. 286 at 18. Okay, it wants us to go and do our top of climb outside air temperature. And so there was my average wind, so that's where I got that. Now let's go page 2, 3, 4, and top of climb. And it should be minus 46 degrees at our top of climb. So plus or minus 46 degrees. And there we go. So that took care of that. Now then, cost index is 35. That's a United number. And reserves are supposed to be 7.8 in Chicago. Okay, so all that looks good. Let's see, what do we got up here? Everything's looking good here. Let's turn on window heaters. So window heaters can go on. I'm not sure if I'm doing my electric hydraulic pumps correctly, but this is usually when I do those. Let's see, passengers, we are going to assume our passengers are aboard. So we're going to go ahead and do seat belts because it's time to get ready to go. And I think I can also do the yawn dampers because, you know, if you're going to make content on YouTube, you really don't want people yawning. And there is your first really bad joke. Performance, takeoff, and landing, I totally screwed those up today. I tried it on an earlier flight and it was not good. Ground services, so we've got chocks in place. There is a GPU. So let's go over here. Our APU is up, so I'm going to go and do... APU is now powering the airplane. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect from ground power. And let's go ahead and disconnect the GPU. Let's go to doors, and we're going to close our doors. And so this should close all of our doors. Doors are closed. And let's see here. I generally like to turn the backlighting up here. It just makes the instruments a little bit easier to read. And so usually I'll turn these up like about midway during the day. And we've already got that one done. Okay, doors are closed. Emergency exit lights are armed and guarded. I'm going to do the anti-collision light, the beacon. And so that's good to go too. We are on all ground power and the APU is, ground power is disconnected, APU. So again, I couldn't get better pushback to work. So we're going to come down here. Parking brakes are on. So we're going to go and go back. I'm going to remove chocks. GPU, ASU, air stairs. I think everything is clear. Okay, I think everything's clear to go. So the best thing for me to do is let's go and try and do a gate start and we'll try and power back. How's that sound? Okay, everything's clear except for our annoying fuel truck, which appears to, yeah, did not get the message from the physics police. Yep, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do packs off. Packs are off. Ground start, engine 2. Engine 2 to ground. And the N2 is going up. And the sound is pretty good here. I assume 20 to 25%, same thing. Okay, 126.8, the zero fuel weight is good. Fuel. Be sure you grab it and pull it all the way up, I've noticed here. So over in Microsoft Flight Simulator on the PMDG, you just click it and it goes up. You have to hold this and drag it. So let's see, N1 limits. And I usually do a derate to 1, climb to 1, takeoffs. We're going to have flaps 5. Go ahead and click your center of gravity. And then this gives you your numbers just like in the PMDG. 146 is our speed off the runway. So 146. And that's looking pretty good too. And the only other thing that I need to do is set our departure heading, which I forgot to do. And that's going to be 046. There we go. And now we can go and do flight directors, which is just my normal workflow here on a 737. Ground start engine number 1. Engine 1. And N2 is going up. That is a really nice looking wing view too. This is usually the seat that I try to book if I get to fly in a real airplane, which hasn't happened a lot, but that's usually the one that I like to book. All right, grab it, lift it all the way up, and we're getting a good start there. Let's just see if Sim Toolkit Pro, look at that. It's tracking us. Sim Toolkit Pro sees us. How about that? Says we're 2 minutes late. Great. 2 minutes late. All right. Because it's summertime, I like to do packs first. So packs first. Passengers comfy. Isolation valve. APU bleed. Let's do probe heaters. Generators. And with all of those set up like that, then I'll go ahead and do APU off. Do a cabin call. We're going to start rolling the airplane around. And let's see. That starter switch should have been to both. I usually like to leave that on both. I should have checked that. Ooh, bad pilot. Didn't get my fuel pumps on. Holy cats. So we're a little bit out of balance there, but not too bad. All right. So let's go ahead and see if we can do a power back here. So feet on the rudder pedals. Sit back. Parking brakes are off. Now I'm going to go ahead and put us into reverse. Okay, well, that sort of kind of worked. So let's go ahead and see if we can't start taxiing forward. And we'll do a taxi out. Did we hit the jetway with our wing? No, we didn't. We pushed back just enough. All right, so this should be Tango 11. Okay, so I do need to do a little bit of fine-tuning with my I need to do some fine-tuning with my controllers, because if I try to idle my controllers, it puts me into reverse. Okay, and then taxiway is supposed to narrow out like this. So not a bad small little regional airport here. Not a bad little bit of scenery here. And again, this is all default. Okay, that says Alpha 5. The signs are correct, as I kind of would expect them to be. Okay, flaps are going to be 5. I'm still using the up and down buttons for flaps in a Boeing, since I've got the TCA stuff. That seems to be the best. There goes flaps. Flaps. Boy, I didn't need to say it that way. Auto brake star TO. Let's see. Speed brake check. Gotta do speed brake checks. Always need to do those. Just because it looks good. Okay, I'm a bad pilot. We should be squawking 2,000 on all taxiways. We'll just go to Terra right now. Okay, we should be coming up. That says Alpha 4, and it is. We've got Alpha 3, Alpha 2, then Alpha 1. All right, so flight directors are up. Let's arm the auto throttle. VNav is not my friend. That was not happy. Heading select. Heading select worked. VNav did not. It worked the first time. Okay, we got a little bit of a crosswind here. Let's try and recycle these. Okay, recycle the flight directors. VNav still does not like me. Not sure why. Heading select does. So we'll go from there. And Alpha 2 and Alpha 1. Let's just take Alpha 1. Terrain elevations are looking really good around here. I'm no expert on Lexington, Kentucky, but I have to say I think the terrain elevations look pretty good. Okay, no idea what it is that I did wrong with why VNav isn't working this time. It did last time. I have also added a right and left takeoff and go around button for auto thrust. Alpha run, runway 4. And parking brakes. Okay, so to do parking brakes in the Boeing, you're supposed to push the button, push the brakes down. There may be a setting that I may need to change. Okay, everything looking good up here. Yaw dampers, fuel, generators. We can go and put that on generator number 1. Lights, let's do a cabin call. We're taking off. Window heat, probe heaters. Everything's good there. Pressurization. Everything's good on pressurization. Okay, we're going to do engines to continuous. Our runway. So we'll do probe heater, position lights and strobes. Parking brakes on. Shall we see if we can make this work? What could possibly go wrong? Okay, ground textures up close for a little regional airport. These are not really all that bad. Not really that bad. No complaints at all on this so far. It's not ortho, but you know what? I can live with that. Okay, we probably need to add a little bit of thrust here. We're going around this turn a little slow. Now, earlier when I did a test in this, I only went to like 40% and then hit auto thrust, and then it got a little weird with me. So I'm going to probably go a little bit higher on my thrust controllers because there might be some noise. So, shall we go and try and do a flight? What could possibly go wrong? Let's try VNav one last time. VNav is not my friend. Okay. Flight directors, auto thrust. Okay, throttles up to about 40%. Stable. And auto thrust. We do get call-outs on this airplane, which is nice.
80 knots.
Checked. I forgot to set my trim. I always forget something. Landing gear.
400.
Still no VNAV.
1000.
Airspeed low.
Whoa.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Flaps 1. Auto brakes. Landing gear off. Another notch of flaps. All right, that's looking pretty good, sort of. All right, let's level that out. We're not climbing very fast. Uh-oh, we're speeding now. So, VNAV, you gonna be my friend here? Not really. AP. VNAV does not like me. Speed intervention. I'm on N2. On N1, excuse me. Level change is on. I don't usually do level change. So this is different. Okay, let's try and do a direct to bonnet. So legs, bonnet, and execute. Let's see if we can get LNAV working for us. LNAV worked, so that's good. Okay, I've got speed over there. Let's see if VNAV's going to be my friend now. Okay, now VNAV's my friend. So I clearly don't know what I'm doing with that on this airplane. We're getting a good climb now. Passing 8,000 feet. Okay, looking good there. So speed 250. It's going to lower the nose, and we're going to get a little bit of climb out of this now. Okay, usually I like to go over here to FMC. Progress. It says I'm using my reserve fuel. Oh, must have taxied a little bit too long. I did not add a bunch of extra taxi time on this. So 250. Okay, there's 10,000 feet. Landing lights. I didn't do my nose light for taxi. We can do start. And we can do cabin call for 10,000 feet. And out we go. Okay, well, that wasn't, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fasten seatbelt sign is on. Please remain seated. When the captain turns the sign off, you'll be able to move about the cabin. When you are in your seat, please keep your seatbelt fastened in the event of unexpected turbulence. Please be careful when opening the overhead compartment. We ask that you use the lavatories located in your cabin, and please don't stand near the lavatories in the galleys. You may now use all approved personal electronic devices. For everyone's safety, please make sure your personal belongings are clear of the aisle. We're pleased to offer personal device entertainment on our United private screenings option, sponsored by the United Plus Explorer card.
Okay.
On-demand movies in the seat back in front of you. If you need to have a headset, we'll be happy to provide one once the captain lets the flight crew get up from our jump seat. After you connect to the United Wi-Fi network, go to unitedwifi.com. You can access united.com and the United app free of charge, where you can check flight status and more. To use other apps and websites, you can purchase an internet access plan. We will be serving a variety of complimentary drinks, wines, craft beer, and other alcoholic beverages for purchase. In United Economy, a variety of snack boxes and refreshments are available to purchase, as well as freshly prepared meals from our bistro on-board menu. You can find more details about the menu in the back of Hemispheres magazine or the Seatback Guide. We accept most major debit and credit cards, including those with a Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express logo, as well as the Mileage Plus Explorer Visa card.
Well, we're getting quite the
relax and enjoy
announcement.
The service on today's flight. Let us know if there's anything we can do. Make
Okay,
your
our
flight more comfortable.
fuel is back to 8.1. It's supposed to be 7.8, so we're no longer using reserve fuel. That's good news. Sometimes that pops on and off, I think, when we're taking off. Okay, 15,000 feet. This is looking good. So earlier, on an earlier flight, I was able to get VNAV working. Don't know what I had set up wrong this time, but we appear to be doing good here. See, I do like to keep this one zeroed out. I do like to keep that zeroed out. That reminds me that I haven't set up the ILS. Okay, coming up on 18,000 feet, almost time to flip the altimeters over. $18,000 feet, standard. Did it flip this one over? Nope, didn't do this one. So let's see, what do we do here? There's standard over there. And I bet I gotta go and do that for the first officer. Yeah, man, I have to do everything for this first officer. There we go. Okay, good. 18,000 feet. Let's go ahead and ring the bell, let the cabin crew know they can get up. Nicely modeled cabin here. They did have the pretty much the cabin set up nicely, you know, for this airplane. They even have soda over here. There's the coffee machine. Although I always thought that all of this was just a cabinet, and they had everything else over here. So I didn't know that they had stuff over there. It's been a while since I've been in one of these, though. So 4 rows of first. And then...
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a passenger Escobar. Passenger Escobar. This is in regards to a special meal. Would you please identify yourself to a flight attendant? Passenger Escobar, please.
Well, okay then. That's the first time I've ever heard an announcement like that. Why don't we go ahead and close that door. And we can come down here. And lock the flight deck door. Passing 21,000 feet. So, not so bad. Let's see, looking outside, clouds. Well, we've got a couple of big puffy clouds over here. There's a little bit of a shimmering here. I don't know what that is. Again, we are in early access here, so early access means, you know, there was our departure. That seemed to go pretty good. It's tracking the airplane just fine. So that's nice. There is an update for Sim Toolkit Pro. If you remember on yesterday's YouTube video, Sim Toolkit Pro was in total freakout mode. I bet that update is going to take care of it. That will be something that I take care of after this video. Okay, passing 23,000. We're looking pretty good. This airplane should give us a decent top of descent. There are no real altitudes on the Veek arrival here. So as we come on in, so Veek's going to bring us in. It's going to take us to the north of the airport. Let's see, suggested altitudes, nothing really. This is all set by ATC. over here coming on in on 9. Now that's 9 center. I was supposed to have, I think I chose 9 left. So we got the wrong one. And delete. And I think I chose 9 left. So approach 9 left. Is that, yeah, that's Gibbons. I think this is the one we were expecting. Is that what I chose? We could always go ahead and do departure and arrival. 9 left. That's correct. Okay, so 9 left. Altitudes, final plunge altitudes 2,300. We'll try an initial descent of 5,000, and we'll set localizer in just a little bit. 22 miles from top of climb. Airplane model looks good. There's some little funky thing that's kind of showing up down here. Not sure what that is. The cabin itself is really kind of nicely modeled here. Earlier today we had monitors. On the earlier flight there were monitors in there. The monitors aren't working. I must have forgotten to turn something on for the passengers. Let's see. Ground services, PA system. That's configuration. Start, cabin services, ground. Turbulence. This is just a bunch of PA settings. Start the flight leg, fuel and balance checklist, ground services, cabin lighting. I guess we could have turned on cabin lighting, but I didn't do that before. So lots to learn about this airplane. So I usually do airports and data. There we go. $37,000 feet seemed like kind of an ambitious altitude, but SimBrief tends to be rather ambitious on those sorts of things. So far, so good. For early access, I gotta say, you know, especially, you know, with the Zibo, the free Zibo mod for the 737 ready out of the gate, I think that's really pretty cool. Frame rates, we're getting about 32, 34. My system is not the newest system in the world, but it's certainly not the oldest. Looking outside, you know, we've got clouds. That's what we would. That's what we normally have. There's a bit of a jagged line. I did do a. Ooh, it looks like we got a little thunderstorm. A little convection is over there. So I guess we're coming up on Indianapolis here. Yeah, south of Indianapolis, that was Cincinnati back here. So all those big puffy clouds are to the north of Cincinnati back there. $31,000 feet, still climbing at about 1,000 feet per minute. So we should be at 14.0, so about 4 minutes more of climb on this. How's the fuel? 8.2, so we're good as far as 8.2 is concerned. Always interesting to see the difference between, you know, how one developer interprets the 737 and how another one does it. sole experience right now is the PMDG. 346 is our heading. Over on X-Plane. I never really had the PMDG on any of the other platforms. 19 miles. Let's see, from what I understand, this does not work with VATSIM yet. I don't know about any of the other ones, but apparently that's not ready to go. But this thing released less than 24 hours ago, so I wouldn't expect that to be working. Have no idea about Pilot Edge or IVAO. Not a bad looking 737. So 5 miles, and then let's see. Well, we should get a top of descent. Nice little. Every now and then a little bump there. Brake temperature is nice. Oh, we bought a minute. Now 1404 Zulu. Let's go ahead and do seatbelts to auto. Everything else looks about right. Famous last words. So to later on today on the spy flight over on Twitch, obviously I think we're going to probably take this airplane on a hop or two. Multiplayer, you know, multiplayer over on Microsoft Flight Simulator is one of Microsoft Flight Simulator's pluses. So until we get connectability with VATSIM, the skies are going to be a little lonely, I think, over here. But I imagine that now that this is out, those developers are going to be working overtime to get those things connected. Okay, we're 192 miles from top of descent. That should happen at about 1429 Zulu. It's 1405. Usually when I do these full flight types of videos here on YouTube, I'll go ahead and pause the recording and we pick it up about 100 miles from top of descent. So that's probably the best thing to do here. I'll go and take a look at a few more things to see if somebody's put anything. I think xplane.org, the forums over on xplane.org are going to be a real interesting place for us to go and see what's new. But right now I think this airplane works really well. Not like I'm an expert at all of this. Can we change our flight number here? Don't think we can change the number there. Okay, so I will see you 100 miles from top of descent. It's time for more coffee. Welcome back to the flight deck. Hey, we're about 100 miles from top of descent. Had a fast breakfast and an extra cup of coffee, and things are looking pretty good here. So 85 miles, it took me about 15 miles to go zipping around a little bit there, but thanks for coming back. Time to start preparing. I did check the weather. Weather is about the same. So I think our choice of 9 left is going to be a good runway for us. So we decided the initial descent was going to be about 5,000. So let's put in 5,000 feet for our initial descent there. And there is 5,000. How about an ILS? Even though it's not a bad day, let's go ahead and put it in anyway. 111.75. So 111.75. 111.75 active. There is a VOR over around Chicago. It's not the best VOR, so I'm not going to bother setting that in. The inbound course is 093 degrees. So remember when I zeroed this one out, I always like to keep this course heading. It always reminds me, hey, you haven't set your ILS yet. And what do we got here? Nothing really to do over there. And let's see. It says 76 miles to top of descent. There appears to be the top of descent green dot over there. Really? It's got us doing our descent from 37,000 feet to 5,000 feet way out here. How far is Chicago? Chicago's 174 miles out. It says 73. Okay, I think maybe it does know what it's doing. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a gap here. So Boone, Cluso, Cato, Bam. Maybe it's these vectors in here. I don't know. I think I want to maybe think about descending a little bit sooner. Could be we want to do descend a little bit sooner. See, there's the descent forecast. I don't know if this thing goes out and gets winds like the PMDG does. And I've been really bad about doing that too. Altimeter in Chicago is 3013. Let's see if we can set 3013. Yep. 3013. Okay, so that's good. We can also preset the co-pilots. So 3013. Very small numbers. 1, 2, 3. And I'll verify it says 3013 there, so that's good enough. Okay, so that looks good. I mean, top of descent is, I'm not sure if I did this right. That just doesn't seem right to me. But who am I to argue with an airplane that has repeatedly proven to me that it's smarter than me? Let's see, Sim Toolkit Pro. In the middle of all of that, I did go and got gutsy and decided to do an update. And so I did update Sim Toolkit Pro here. So Sim Toolkit Pro said top of descent supposed to be way out here. I don't think I did something right. This just doesn't seem to be the thing to do. I think top of descent over there is not quite right. It says we're 157 miles. I think something's wrong. I think it is time for an intervention. And so we're going to do altitude intervention. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead. Is it going to start the descent now? It's going to start the descent now. Yes, we just decided to intervene. About 1,000 feet per minute. That's probably not so bad. The deviation is going to be off, and watch, I'll probably, again, I should have trusted the airplane, but that just didn't, to start the descent there. So it was telling me that it wanted me to start our descent here at Vulcan. That's 20 miles. So the math, we're what? Flight level 360. We wanted to go down to 5,000 feet times 3 divided by 1,000. That said I needed 93 miles. I don't think that there's something wrong. I'm glad I decided to intervene. We shall see. Now, it's very probable that what ended up happening is I just didn't set it up right. So it could very well be that I did that. Let's see, 322. Always like to keep the course heading, the heading always straight up there. That way, if I have to take over, at least this thing is up here and it says go this way, go that way. I don't think there's anything to do up here. We've got the landing altitude set, lights are good, so we'll just kind of continue to do this. Now, I have not seen what Chicago looks like here, so I've got no idea what the default O'Hare looks like. And in some cases, the default airports don't have all the runways. So we might not have a runway. So one of the things to do is I'm going to have in the back of my mind that maybe the runway may not be there. So as we're coming in on approach, if it's not there, we may need to be prepared to go around or do a sidestep. You know, go over and see if there's another runway that's going to work for us. We are 136 miles out. Our descent is good. So I usually, over in the PMDG, I do a flaps 30 landing. Okay, so that's good. 145 for landing. I might be a little bit more aggressive than that, we'll see. Now, here was top of descent here. I didn't have it set up correctly. This is giving us the ILS 111.75. 111.75. This is really nice. It's got the inbound course. Very cool on that approach. Still descending at about 1,000 feet per minute. We're direct to Cato. We're heading 325 degrees. That was just weird. I don't think there's anything really to do over here. Nothing really to do down there. We're waiting for about 25,000 feet where we get to turn on the seatbelt sign, but almost feeling a little Airbusy right now. Everything's done. So one of the things that I've noticed over here, so here we are coming into the Chicagoland area. One of the things I've noticed here is you can get an ATIS and a METAR if you click up here. I guess if there were VATSIM, it would give us the VATSIM digital ATIS. But here's our latest weather information. Altimeter's 3013. Winds 350 at 4. I did check over on digital ATIS, and Chicago is still landing to the east. So that was kind of nice. You can also pop up your OPF. So this pops this up too, which is nice. It does show you a load sheet, which is kind of nice too. So I haven't seen that, and they've also included a scratch pad now. So I think that Sim Toolkit Pro keeps getting better and better. Like I said, yesterday it was clearly having a little bit of a nutty, but I suspect that the update fixed that. Passing 30,000 feet. I almost wonder if we're going down fast enough. I think I may need to do vertical speed. And we're going to go down just a little bit faster. I'm also going to reduce my airspeed just a bit too. All right, here the engine's spooling down just a little bit. We're going, getting kind of close to glide slope and localizer here. We were not descending nearly fast enough. And we may need to do some speed brakes too. I would imagine that the cloud textures are going to get cleaned up. That's going to be one of the things that they're probably going to do as they roll out X-Plane 12. So I would expect to see a couple of updates come our way soon. And it looks like we're flying over. So Chicago is down there somewhere in the clouds. Talk about the building excitement to see what the airport looks like. I've also, now that we're in the Chicagoland area, I've noticed that my frame rates have dropped from about 35 to 25. So frame rates have definitely dropped a little bit as we get closer to Chicago. We're definitely a little bit high here. So, boy, am I glad I decided not to wait for the airplane to tell me to descend. That would have been pretty bad. So speed's coming down a little bit. That's nice. Descending at about 2,000 feet per minute. We'll see how this works. $25,000. This is when I usually do seatbelts. Definitely quieter when you close the cockpit door, as far as bells from the cabin and the sound of the flight attendants. Okay, so Trixie is 5,000 feet or above. So this is what, 10 miles? So we're probably going to go out to about ESS, East or Vinder or somewhere, a little bit beyond there, and then we can start our turn back in for the runway. Altimeters are ready to go, so that's nice. Haven't had to use speed brakes yet. Now, speed brakes over on the PMDG, you click down here. For arming. Don't know that that's going to arm right now. Passing 22,000. Speed's still coming down nicely. Might throw up one notch of speed brake at the moment here, just to help with that speed and to increase our rate of descent just a little bit. Now, could be because this was vectors. Maybe also because I suggested that we were going to go all the way out to Gibbon. Maybe that's another reason. Speed keeps coming on down, so that's nice. IABU 093. Always good to come on in and have a look at. ISAJ 11175. 11175 is active, so that seems to be off. It'll be interesting to see if that fixes itself. Coming up on 18,000 feet. Yeah, I think maybe it was expecting that we were going to go all the way out to Gibbon because I chose that one, and that's why it gave us the top of descent so far out. Okay, there's 18,000, and we get to hit the standard altimeter button again. Take care of the co-pilot. Altimeter is 3013. 3013 on the backup. Good. And we'll just keep on coming down. So about 10,000 feet, maybe about 8,000 feet, and we can start the turn in. We'll reduce our rate of descent a bit so that we can get our speed just a touch under 250 knots. And the speed's slowly inching down just a bit, so that's nice. Yeah, I'm guessing that this was because it thought we were going all the way out to Gibbon. Ooh, wow, I see a little bit of scenery out there. Don't blink, there's our little hole in the clouds. So speed's still coming down a bit, altitude's coming down fairly nicely too. All right, let's go ahead, and our heading is 274. 274, we're gonna switch over to heading select. How about 180 degrees? So we'll turn directly south. Any holes in it? Well, there's a little bit of farmland down there. So there's some farmland. I did do a flight over the Colorado Rockies, and I can confirm one of the improvements in Microsoft Flight Simulator in X-Plane 12 is we do have snow. So we do have a snow layer out there, which is really pretty cool. Okay, speed brakes down. Let's go ahead and let it hold 240 here for a while, because we did go out pretty far. Did go out pretty far here. And let's reduce our rate of descent just a little bit. We've kind of got this under control. Let's continue the turn and go direct to John. Legs. John. Execute. And LNAV. Okay, that'll help us get around over there. There's 10,000 feet. We're below 250 knots, so we can go ahead and do some lights. We'll preload those lights right there. Do a cabin call for 10,000 feet. There's a cabin call, and everything's looking good there. Start reducing this just a little bit more to about 1,500 feet per minute. Okay, we're also going to roll this around here. There. That looks good. We can reduce our rate of descent just a little bit more. That'll help me keep control of my speed. There's 9,000 feet. It's above 8,000 feet here, so we're now definitely caught up. So about 900 feet per minute should help us keep above those altitudes. Okay, 111.75 is now no longer yellow, 093. It's not identified it as ISAJ, but see if we get some DME in just a bit too. Okay, above 9,000 feet, so we are now a little low. Yeah, it's either too high, too low. How about descend at 50 feet per minute here until we catch up? I do have what appears to be glide slope and localizer, and we are 27 miles out. How about that? ISAJ is now identified along with DME, so that's really nice. And let's go ahead and hit the approach button, get a little help there. That's going to take care of LNAV for us. And we'll catch up with the glide slope here in just a bit. Reset that to 093 runway heading. And that's ready to go. And we'll catch up with 8,000. Glide slope's got a box around it, so that looks good too. 240 knots. And 24 miles out. Let's go ahead and do 210. That way we can get a little bit of flap out. That's going to help us there. I'll do auto brakes 3, just because that's what I normally do. Although we got a good long runway here. Okay, glide slope and localizer are both set up there. That looks good too. We're coming in on 9 left. 9 left means we're going to want to go most of the runway, and then it's a long taxi back on Mike. Okay, we're not slowing down very much here. 2 clicks of the speed brakes. See if we can't slow the airplane down, get some flaps out. Almost looks like it's raining out there today. I don't think I saw rain. 10 miles visibility, broken clouds at 800 feet. It's overcast at 1,600 here in the Chicagoland area today. And we're getting close. Speed to 180. Now all of a sudden we were high and fast, so we got to pick that up here. I say landing gear. That'll help slow us down. And there goes our flap. There goes our speed. 2 clicks of flaps for the moment. Now's the perfect chance to make sure that you're centered up in your sim cockpit. And flaps 5. Coming up on 5,000 feet. Okay, that should stop us there. Speed brakes back. Now, can I arm these? I don't know. Might have to do that myself. I'm not sure if I'm arming that correctly. There's 180. Flaps 10. No runway. Cabin crew, seats for landing, please. And there it is. Auto throttles have picked us up. 180. We are 12 miles. Usually the ATC wants us to do 180 until 5 to 10 miles. That would be at Xena. I still see absolutely nothing outside the airplane. Flaps are looking great. There's 10 miles. Let's bring Mr. Map, excuse me. I'll be okay. So there's our 10 miles. Here's 5 miles. There's where we get to slow down at Xena. And our speed, 145. I always like to add a little bit to that. Let's click that again. 144. I always like to add to that, so maybe closer to 150 for landing is what we'll do. After landing, we're exiting to the right. There's one turn off, and it's the Mike taxiway. Man, they've got people landing on 10 center and 9 left today.
2,500.
People doing a long taxi. So 2 miles to Xena, and then we can slow it down. Any sign of anything outside the airplane? Oh, I see a little bit of ground there. Okay. It is definitely mostly murky in Chicago today. Missed approach is showing up as the blue line at the top of the map. That looks good. A mile to Xena. All right. 150. Gear down, 3 green. Speed brakes are set. Auto brakes will be manual. Auto brakes are set. Speed brakes are going to be manual. I'm seeing some ground. I see no sign of an airport. Flaps are 30. Oh, just got a little bit of a wind bump there. I'm starting to see what looks like it might be a runway, but I almost always like to leave the autopilot on until I can really say that I see that. All right. Captain's airplane. Auto throttles.
$500. $400.
Got blown off to the side a little bit there.
300. $200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Reverse. Reverser stowed. Auto brakes disengaged. Manual braking. I forgot to throw out my speed brakes. Did they go out? Oh yeah, they did go out. Apparently they were armed. Manual braking. And welcome to Chicago, where we're going to be taxiing for a hell of a long time because we're over on 9 left, but I guess that's what they're bringing us in on. Speed brakes are down. Flaps can come up. Okay, there goes flaps up. See, we should go to altitude off. Landing lights. Strobes. And I forgot to put my starters on restart. Okay, this should be Mike. We'll clear ourselves to cross 22 right because there's nobody else out here flying today. I keep looking over at my moving map, which doesn't work right now. Landing rate was minus 389. Not great, not terrible, which is the story of my life. Okay, we do a little bit of a turn here. Still kind of interested to see what the Bravo and Charlie concourses look like here at Chicagoland. Okay, that's Mike 3, goes over to the hangars. We're going to the terminal, crossing runway 22 right. And there's 22 right. And let's see, after we cross 27, 27 center and left. And then after Mike, it's a right turn at Gulf. And that'll get us on into United Land. There's 22 right. Well, I see something that looks like a terminal up ahead. Okay, so all in all, I've got to say that I really do like what I've seen so far. I definitely am, not forgetting that this is early release. As far as buggy things and things that are problems, there isn't an awful lot that I can whine about at this point. The sim was released. I think that there's some nice default airplanes that were in there. I did fly the default 737 on one of my test flights, and it was okay. So that's, but the fact that Zibo has done the update, I think that's absolutely outstanding. That's going to give us a really good airplane. Now, scenery is going to look a little bit on the dodgy side for some of us. I mean, that almost looks like a monorail over there. Okay, this should be 27 left, that is. After 27 left, we're going to make our right turn at Taxiway Gulf. Now, my guess is that the people that do the scenery and everything else, they're going to be doing some updates of their scenery. All right, there is Taxiway Gulf. It even says so on the sign. There is the Chicago Hilton. It looks a little Hilton-y, I guess. There's some sort of a weird thing up here. Well, that's not a bad version of the front end of the Chicago terminal. Okay, so they've got a couple of little commuter things over here. I guess those are passable. Then there's the International, so they bring the jumbos in down here at the corner. Well, I think they tried. And, for making default airports, this is not an awful lot to whine about. Okay, we should come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's all it takes to get the APU started up. Okay, so they'd have jumbos and stuff over there. So if you're doing Chicago to Europe or Japan, that's where you're going to get on. And there's ground traffic all over the place. Usually they're going to cut right in front of the airplanes. How about this gate right here? So we're going to get Bravo 14. Now my guess is there's no guidance going in. There wasn't any when I did the trip earlier to Denver. I think I need to change some sensitivities and stuff. Okay, I think that's pretty close. Oh, I missed it by a few inches. Gee. Okay. Parking brakes? Now, I need to go... I started my APU, right? Okay, well, I guess I didn't start the APU. So we'll just get to sit here. The passengers can wait for a few minutes. I thought I turned it on. Okay, we can come over here and let's do ground services. We can do chocks. Let's connect ground power. Do we have ground power? Okay, we got ground power, so that's good. That'll take care of electricity and engine number 2, engine number 1 in the opposite order. Okay, seat belts, emergency exit lights, beacon. Let's go ahead and we'll just turn on the bleed right now and the isolation switch. And that way when the APU does come up, I don't see an EGT there. I apparently don't know what I'm doing with that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, let's see. We can go and do doors and forward, aft, cargo, and I think we probably did okay. Again, maybe you can get Jetways to work through ATC or something. I have no idea. You know what? This is X-plane. You know what that means? There's a replay, right? So there was our approach. Not so bad. Let's do finish the flight and okay. Slide that over there and now we can go up here and do flight. Toggle replay mode. I'm not kidding. This was whoever decided we didn't need replay. Okay. Yeah, my windows and doors are open. No biggie. This is actually one of the things that makes X-Plane so nice is a seamless replay like this. Come on, we're simulator pilots. We want to see how we did. Or see how bad we did. Well, we just kind of plopped at the end, didn't we? Okay. Well, you know what? That's a standard operating procedure here at Spy Flight. Not great, not terrible. Not so bad. Okay, so first real flight out of the gate. I mean, this was the first real complete flight that I did. Not bad at all. Loading time is absolutely lightning fast by any simulator standards. We really did have a fast load, and I got to tell you, that was really pretty amazing to me. Compatibility, I'm sure that Better Pushback is probably working on getting everything set up for us. I'm sure that Sam, the scenery animation manager, so that we can control our jetways. I'm going to guess that the scenery designers for airports are probably going to get going. And the other thing to be ready and excited about is the possibility of some of the really great airplanes being ready to go quickly, because Laminar was working with developers like Tolus and Flight Factor. So we should get some of those really, really exciting airplanes. And it's yelling at me. What doesn't it like? Okay. My playback, my replay disconnected me from the ground power. So, X-Plane 12, it is now here. Again, it's early, so some of the cloud textures were a little dodgy, but other than that, I got no complaints. This is nice. I still think that for scenery, Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to be pretty good. As far as multiplayer, as soon as we get connected to things like Pilot Edge and IVAO and VATSIM, things are going to be getting better there too. So all in all, not bad. I am looking forward to my next flight in the Zibo. Hopefully I learn some better buttons. Thank you so much for flying along with me. As I always like to say, this is not about the right way versus the wrong way, definitely, as I learn a new airplane. But it is what apparently works for me, because we didn't bend the airplane when we landed. I am really new here on YouTube, so I'm still reading all comments and questions. Can't wait to read what you think about this new simulator, whether you're going to get it or not, and if there's some things that you want to see me do in the future here on YouTube. I definitely want to read about that too. Big thank you to donors on Ko-fi and Patreon, and also the really nice subscribers and gift subbers over on Twitch. You all are the jet fuel in my flight plan. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you again real soon here on YouTube, and even sooner on Twitch. Cheers.